Hi, and welcome back to Next Stop Bus Driver. It's your friendly neighbourhood bus driver, me, Ant, and today I'm on my own as our good friend Carly is currently training for a first boxing match. So she's unable to join us. We have been trying to sit down and actually get another podcast done and up and loaded. And I thought, you know what, Friday, I'm off today. It's the 5th of July. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to try and do another podcast. So I just thought I'd sit down, do a podcast, a bit of a chat with you guys one-to-one, and give you some insights into being a bus driver. The podcast itself hasn't really found its formatting or its feet yet. I'm still trying to figure it out. But I thought I'd start off with, obviously, things like the news, look at driver mentality, driver health, staying on track, talking about what tools I use or how I go about my day-to-day driving, and talk about things like the route ahead and what we're looking to plan. Might talk a bit about the channel and how we see ourselves moving forward with the channel. But the idea behind this podcast is basically to let you guys get to know me a little bit better. So obviously, I'm Ant, I'm your friendly neighbourhood bus driver, and I drive for Rosendale Transport. So you all know that about me, but how did I become a bus driver? Well, back in 2020 actually, it'll be almost 2 years now, I was working for a company, a startup business called Enjoy Technology. And Enjoy Technology was the UK's first last stop mile retailer. And the idea was we worked on behalf of BT and EE. And what we did basically was if you rang up EE or BT for installation, they used to send out what they called a home tech expert. That was me. I was a home tech expert for Enjoy. And I used to drive around the northwest of England pretty much from Blackpool down to Southport, down to Merseyside, up to Lancaster, across to Withamshire, and I would install people's home broadband connectivity, stuff like that. So I had a keen knowledge of IT anyway. I come from an IT background. I've worked quite high up in IT for my last couple of jobs I did. I've worked on multiple projects around that. So I basically decided that I wanted to try something different. But then in June, I think it was, we were made redundant. The company unfortunately spent more money than it was making. The company went through quite a few iterations in the 16 months that I was there, just there under 2 years. If I'd made it to my 2 year anniversary, I'd have got paid out properly. Unfortunately, I just got my severance package, which ended up losing most of it to the HMRC. Tax and stuff like that. It's a bit bad, really. So yeah, I kind of like, when I finished that job, I didn't know what to do with myself. I didn't know where to go next. And I had a good friend. Well, I had a friend. I won't say we were good friends. We drifted apart a little bit in the years. But I had a friend called Callum who worked on the buses, and I remember like leading up to knowing that the job was becoming redundant. I just asked Callum like what he thinks about the job and how he finds it. And Callum said he loved it and he enjoyed it, and it was quite good fun if you enjoy driving. Obviously, a huge aspect of driving is working with customers, especially in the bus industry. So I've worked in many customer service roles throughout my career, starting at Tesco and the cooperative group. And again, most of the IT jobs that I do were very customer service based, even though they were still IT roles, they're still customer service based. And a lot about what we did at Enjoy was customer service based. It was all about putting the customer first and being kind. So on the way home from being made redundant, you can imagine how miserable and upset I was. I had to get the bus because my wife had the car, and I missed it. And on the back of the bus it said, Mohammed used to work at a petrol station and now drives your bus. I'm going for number 4, believe it or not. And it had that on the back of it. And I was like, Callum enjoys driving buses. I enjoy driving. What if I become a bus driver? So I applied for that. Whilst I was waiting for it, I ended up working in a cinema. One of the best jobs downhand I've ever had, working in a cinema. Absolutely love that job. So yeah, and then I think it was about September the 5th, I got past my medical, had COVID the week before, 2 weeks before that. So yeah, I done my medical, caught COVID, couldn't start when I was meant to, had to delay it for 2 weeks. Joined on the 5th with Stephen, a lad called Daniel who left, and his name slips. I don't want to say it's Roy. I've got him on my phone. Just 1 second. It's going to really annoy me that Nick. I'm sorry, Nick, I didn't forget you. I just couldn't see your name in my head. I was talking with Nick, Steve, and Daniel. Daniel left. He kept being late, and they just said to him, like, being a part of a bus driver is being on time. So, yeah, they got rid of him. So, yeah, that started the journey. I'd always had a love affair with buses and trains. I'm very vehicle orientated. I'm not, and never been like hands-on mechanically, but I do enjoy buses, trains, trucks, lorries, stuff like that. So yeah, that's how I started out in the industry. So looking forward and trying to figure out what's next for me is kind of exciting. So obviously I want to share that enthusiasm. That's why we do it on the channel. So I think realistically, going forward for the channel itself, the idea around the channel is to grow knowledge around Lancashire. So a couple of ideas that I've been working with include, obviously because I only do the 464 at the moment due to working special roster, I kind of want to show off like the hidden gems of the 464, so like little things that are you just off the beaten track of the 464. So I've got an idea of a little series to do. I'm still working on the bus wars thing for about Preston buses. It's just having time to go down to Preston and film it because I've got Sebastian. If I go down and it rains, this camera's brilliant, but it's not waterproof. DJI sorted out. So yeah, I think going forward it's going to be still a day in the life of a bus driver. It might be slightly tweaked. I'm still trying to work out the format and what does well with YouTube, YouTube's algorithm, what doesn't. You'll see some videos do like 3.5k, some do 700, some do 600. I just don't know what's working on YouTube, and I'm trying to find out, and it's a huge undertaking and task to research. So yeah, obviously there's a Next Stop podcast. I'm going to try and get this done once a month, or maybe twice a week. I don't know. Just again, time. There's then the hidden secrets of the 464. I want to do that. I need to do a little bit of research into stuff that's around there. So that might be just towards the end of the summer when that comes out. Obviously, day in the life of a bus driver. Still want to do that as best I can. I mean, I work the same shifts, but we're coming up to winter, so mentality might shift a little bit. And I think that's a good insight of how drivers cope with the summer changes into the winter months. And then obviously I want to do more about Lancashire and the more hidden gems of Lancashire and the transport around Lancashire. I haven't got the book. There's a book from a YouTuber, and his name slips me again. It's not called Nick neither. Jeff Marshall. There's a book from Jeff Marshall and his partner, and I kind of want to sort of complete those books like a From's guide to railway and stuff like that. It's like adventures on the railway. So that's the plan of the channel going forward. Financially, we are making small amounts of cash from it, but the money that we're making is nowhere near. We haven't been approached by anyone for any sponsorship deals, which is kind of weird because someone was saying to me, like, I had a conversation with somebody, I can't remember who it was, and they were like, yeah, they got approached for a sponsorship quite soon into their channel, but they were doing more about cars and stuff, so I can't remember who it was. I'll figure it out and tell you. So yeah, any money that we do make from the channel, I'm just going to reinvest it back into the channel, into things. Might do the £10, might do some challenges, but again, it's all about weather and timing with Sebastian. So like going to Whitby for a tenner is a fantastic idea, but getting back from Whitby when it takes like 6.5 hours with Sebastian, I don't think he's going to survive on a bus that long. So stuff like that might have to be put off on hold. It might never get done. There are other channels around there doing it. So yeah, it's kind of we're trying to find the sort of nook and niche of the product. We put out a message yesterday about community merch. Very evenly split. Again, it's just an idea in the background. It's just a way of thanking you guys, rewarding you. It would never be to profiteer, mainly because if profiting ends up opening loads of wormholes. I mean, there's enough wormholes with making merchandise anyway. But I was thinking more like pin badges and maybe a t-shirt or something. But again, it'd be something that's way down the line, maybe year 2, maybe year 3. that we look at that sort of thing. The podcast itself, I'm trying to find its swing of where it belongs. It's kind of a hard thing to do when you're on your own. So I thought I was going to make a video about this early on the week, but I never got around to it. So a little bit of news, good news, everybody. If you live in Lancashire, there are some changes coming afoot this month. July sees a list of whole new changes for Lancashire. So from the 22nd of July, Preston Bus Station will introduce several timing revisions to the network for the summer holiday season, including some general timing amendments to overall service and reliability on the following service. Service 8, Preston to Moornook. Service 19, Preston to Royal Preston Hospital. Service 31, Preston to Sedgwick and Lee. I don't know much about Preston Bus Company. I know my friend Gareth has left, but I believe there was a lot of cutbacks coming. I don't know if it was for the pay rise or something, but there were a lot of cutbacks coming. And I know one of them was I think it was the service 31 where it picks up, or the 39 service where it picks up workers from a factory, and they pretty much rely on it, and the last bus was being cancelled. I believe that's been reinstated. Now for other services in the area, Preston service 152, Hogton, Blackburn, Padiham and Burnley from the 21st of July, something I've been really looking forward to. 2024, Transdev, the Blackburn Bus Company, in partnership with the Lancashire County Council, will utilise funding from His Majesty's Government through the Bus Service Improvement Plan, will enhance evening service provisions on the routes with additional Monday to Thursday journeys. The 2200 and the 2300 hours Friday and Saturday journey between Preston and Blackburn will now operate all week, Monday to Saturday. This is fantastic news. I had a gentleman approach me in the street. He knows I work around the bus company because he's seen me on it, and he was like, why is it the last bus to Preston, Monday to Friday, is really, really late, really early? I think it's something like 7 o'clock. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I can confirm later on. So let's actually have a look at Preston to Blackburn, 152 last bus. Let's have a look. Hotline. Obviously, it's going to change, but from Blackburn, we want the other way around, don't we? I've got that one, it's easier. So from Blackburn stand 5. Yeah, the last bus is 22:18 on a Monday to Friday, I think. But a lot of them only go to Blackburn from Burnley. They don't continue through. So like the 7:39 doesn't continue through. The 8:39 doesn't continue through. So you've got like one every hour, and then it stops. So going forward, that's going to be a little bit longer. Obviously, you're going to have 2 extra bus rides. The 20 or 28 and the 21-28 departures from Burnley to Blackburn will extend through to Preston on Friday and Saturday, will also now operate Monday to Friday. So the ones that where people were complaining in the early evenings, because obviously it's the pound service after 7 o'clock, they were getting they weren't getting the full value of what Lancashire was trying to offer, I believe. So this will also be serve several timing revisions across the whole timetable to improve service reliability. As a lot of you know, and you've seen in my last video, up here, I think it'll be, I don't know, it's one of these sides, I never know because the camera's reversed. The 152 is very busy, and even the comments you'll see can have suffer with reliability issues, and that is basically there's that the time's cut and the time gain is back at the bus station, so you tend to find yourself chasing the time. I don't, but it swallows. I was 7 minutes late. You get to the bus station, you got 10 minutes layover, so you spend 3 minutes switching drivers and getting the passengers on. It's okay if you're not switching drivers because you make it back, but if you're waiting for a bus for 34 and it doesn't turn up, and it does get itself back on time, it causes loads of trouble. And I think the 59 runs and operates a little bit better, so obviously that will improve it. Other news: the service 113 Preston, Garstank, Gregson Lane, Bamber Bridge, Lostercall and Leyland LFT 21 from our friends at Vision from the 21st of July, Lancashire County Council, utilising the funding from the government, will plan to introduce regular Monday to Saturday evening services throughout the route. These new Monday to Saturday evening journeys Return journeys from Preston to Leyland will run generally every hour, departing Preston at 18:35, 19:40, 20:40, 21:40, 22:40, with a shorter journey at 23:20, terminating at Lostercole, and returning from Leyland at 18:24, 20:24, 21:24, and 22:24. There will also be minor adjustments to the morning, Friday and peak journey times to improve reliability. Vision Bus will continue to operate the service on behalf of Lancashire County Council. It's kind of strangely put at the bottom. I'm assuming there must have been some trouble with Vision. I do know a few drivers that work at Vision, and they seem to be really happy. And this Preston service used to be the little hotline, didn't it? 153. So yeah, that's good for them. It's good for the customers. I don't think the drivers would be too happy about working stupidly late, but yeah, it's good for the people around there. Again, the £1 journey is a great thing after 7 o'clock, so that should help people get to Preston, have a drink, have a bit of a cinema, go to the cinema, have some food, and then go back out. So that's a really good idea. That, I think Preston Council, Lancashire County Council, are really looking at what routes need to. Even if you get 10 customers at night, it's still, on a Friday, it's going to help people. But yeah, and again, the Preston ticket, they got Preston tickets, these, so like the System 1, there is a Preston actual card that you can get for a week. Again, that is something I want to do a video about. It's just finding the time to do it and time to ride around Preston all day, scanning a ticket when I don't pay normally. So yeah, there is a Preston ticket, and I will do a video about it. I've got the card somewhere in one of my rucksacks, so I can show it you later. West Lancashire services, the service 310 Skelmersdale, Ormskirk and Liverpool. From July 21st, Arriva will revise the timetable with minor adjustments to some school holiday journeys to match the school day journey times. Again, just timetable improvements. The big ones that I find, and the ones that I believe have upset some people, and I don't understand why, because it's a brilliant little route, and if they want to return it to Blackburn, I'll happily drive it. Rosendale services, the service 481 Rottenstall, Haslingden and Blackburn from July 21st. Transdev Rosso, in partnership with Lancashire County Council, utilising funding from the government, will plan to improve bus service and improve evening services on the route with additional journeys. The new Monday to Saturday evening journeys are as follows: 20:36, 22:06 from Rottenstall to Blackburn, and 23:36 Rottenstall to Haslingden. I do not understand that last one. That last one is not needed. That should go to Blackburn. That should go all the way to Blackburn. And the reason I say this, and I'm sorry if any Rosendale drivers are upset with me about it, what is the point when the 464 goes Rottenstall to Haslingden? Now, obviously this goes around a different area of Haslingden, but realistically that area is kind of tight at night. It's kind of tight in the mornings. Surely you just want to send the 464. But it's a good idea, and I'm quite impressed with it. And then 1947, 21:17, and 22:47, Blackburn to Rosendale will be running Monday to Saturday. It's a really good thing because on a Wednesday, I don't know if they still do it. Northern Whispers used to do a pint for £2. So you imagine if you travel from 7 o'clock, you basically now going to get more time to drink and more time to enjoy yourself. Or if you want to go for something to eat, to Bury, you're going to have that opportunity to be able to get to Bury if you can, if it's going all the way. If it's not, then it's going to Rottenstall. So currently, I don't know if they've actually changed it on the timetable, because I didn't think they might have updated the timetable 22:06. It's showing that it leaves. Can you do? I can't. Yeah, it's showing. It already looks like it's on there. I thought the last one was 8:05, 6:05 It is now showing that there is a 22:47 bus from Rottenstall. So yeah, the guy at bustimes.org has updated his timetable, so he's done a fantastic job. So he must have got the new files and dumped them in. It does say that they're BSIP funded, so it's showing that the bus improvement fund. So yeah, it did. It ran. It finished. It's a really weird crew roster to be on. I think it's one of the best crew rosters you can have at Rosendale, starting at 7:02 in the morning in Blackburn and finishing at 18:05, and then vice versa from Bury, it starts at 20 past 6 at Rottenstall, 7:05 from Bury. Yeah, I think even the 483, I think the 483 starts at like 5 o'clock in the morning, 5 to 6, then 6:35. So it's a really if you're on that one, you never used to work later than like 8:30. Obviously now they're going to be working quite late in the evening, which I can imagine is going to upset a few people. But it allows people to actually get on the bus, use the £1 fare, utilise what's in the area, and help grow the economies. So for the 483 Rottenstall, Water and Burnley, you're going to get a new 2308 Rottenstall to Burnley, 2120 and 22:20 Burnley to Rottenstall, so 20 past 9 and 20 past 10, which is brilliant. I think that's a really good improvement. Obviously, there were some improvements that have already taken place in June, but the £1 fare on a Sunday has been an absolutely fantastic game changer for most passengers. You can get essentially almost anywhere for like £4 or £5. You really are taking your money's worth there. So yeah, the news itself, some drivers will be happy, some drivers won't. For me, I mean, looking at the route ahead, like the 481 and the 483 were one of the best routes to drive. I mean, there was so much time in them when they were under Blackburn. I remember, and a driver started late and they gave me their duty. I got to Rosendale and I was like 25 minutes late. I was tremendously late, and they were like, "Just get to Rottenstall, just go." Got to Rottenstall and I literally picked everyone up. I don't think we charged anyone. They just said, "Get everyone on the bus, get it gone." I think we charged like 3 people, 4 people. There wasn't many people to pick up, to be brutally honest. But what we did was I got all the way. We got all the way to Bury, and we basically, I left Bury with like 2 minutes. I was 2 minutes late. I got back to Rottenstall and I was back on time. It was like you couldn't do that on the 464. The time point on the 464, I think, is you're looking for about 8 minutes. If you're 8 minutes late, you're about to lose service. And the reason why that is because imagine customers go to the bus 5 minutes early. So my customers are there, and the next person's customers are there. So you end up basically having 2 sets of customers waiting for you, which doubles the time, doubles the passengers, doubles the numbers. So it takes twice as long. Every passenger takes about 30, 40 seconds. Now, I know when I do go back, this is going to change, because another bit of news is Freedom Passes and Now cards no longer in Lancashire need to announce the stop. Tap the card, go and sit down. That's all I need to do. I just need to greet them. Hello. Don't need to ask them where they're going. That's been the biggest pain about being a bus driver working across county, is the fact that you need to ask. If you're in Rochdale, you need to ask basically every customer who's got a Now card, because in Rochdale you just tap on and sit down, where they're going, for the simple fact that we have to claim back the money from Rochdale Council or GMT, Great Manchester Transport, vice versa, or Lancashire. So if there's someone from Rochdale who's going all the way to Accrington, we need to know that, because the money that they claim back is a certain fee for that. However, that changes on the 7th of July. We don't have to. So it will actually speed up boarding and loading passengers quicker. So that should be a lot easier. So yeah, on the 464, if you lose about 8 minutes, you've got like no time to get back, especially going into Rochdale. Coming back, if you're 8 minutes down, you'll make it back. If you keep it on like what we call a perfect route, going through Bacup, there's a lot of time from the top of Bacup to the bottom of Bacup, and from the bottom of Bacup to Waterfoot, you can gain it back. But if there is traffic lights, you ain't getting it back. It's like Darwin. It's a one-way system. It's a one street, one in, one out practically, and it just gets clogged with traffic and stuff. So it's one of those. It happens. It's just one of those. It's not need to worry. But yeah, the 481 and the 483 with some fantastic routes. I love driving them. There's such good scenery. Not that anyone that gets on the 464 isn't lovely, but the customers, like, especially when you go into Bury on a Thursday, Friday, Wednesday, I think it's when the markets are on, you just get so many nice old people, and it's lovely. I had so much fun driving them. They were like a holiday for me, and I was a bit gutted when they took them off us. Obviously, I was rostered as a 464 driver, but they took them off us. So it was kind of difficult when they did that. I was a bit niffed. We lost a few good drivers who were Airwell drivers who went to Vision. They're happy at Vision, but it was just it's never nice to really lose friends. We stay in contact with most of them, but yeah, it was just sad when it went to Burnley. So I know some drivers at Burnley are upset about it, but it's one of those guys. It's not as bad as the 464. You're not really running that late. I mean, what does our last bus go on the 464? Let's have a look. Our last bus from Accrington is 21:35, and it goes all the way through to Rochdale Interchange at 22:43. And then obviously from stand 4, it goes at 22:05, all the way through till 22:48. The last bus from Rochdale is 22:50 and gets back to Accrington at 23:54. So it's not that late. It's a nice easy route. You practically do it. I have noticed that most of the buses are back on the road. There's only 2 Blackburn buses on the road today from us. We seem to be getting most of our 464s back, which is good news. So yeah, it's the good improvements. Which leads on to obviously practical tips and route efficiency, timekeeping hacks. A lot of the time, it's for me as a driver, what I do, and I try to emphasise this on new drivers because the cap isn't always going to be there. The price cap will go one day. And what I tend to do is work out where in a week you can figure it out. If you can figure out where most of the customers are going, and you can prep to be good. Ticketer is really good at this. The Ticketer machine that we have is quite an old one, but it has the stops listing. You have a keyboard, and what I tend to do is I know when I'm leaving Accrington, most of my customers are going to Haslingden. If they're not going Haslingden, they're going Rottenstall. You get a handful of customers that are going Rochdale, and you know who they are because they get on and they say Rochdale, and then it's just click RO, have your keyboard up, and the keyboard is the efficient speed hack for me. Knowing where your customers are going and building that rapport and saying hello to them does help. It makes life a lot easier when you're doing it. So the best hack I have for staying on fishing is just, keep your mindset of your timing points, leave on time, or watch your ticket machine. Never leave early. Leaving early is the biggest problem that people do, because then you're basically running ahead of time, and when you get to another time point, you've got to stay and wait even longer. It's like coming out of Rochdale. Most of the customers are going up Whitworth Road. They've got Manchester passes. They're going Gale Street, Thrumhall, Fieldhouse. So you just get used to knowing that. And then when you get someone say Whitworth, it's Union Road or it's Whitworth Bar. So you go to the fastest stop, and you will get people getting on. And literally, you get it when you get to North Street in Whitworth. They're going Bacup, recognising what people are wearing. So, for example, we pick up a lot of lads from Salmon, I think it is. Salmon, it's like a refrigerator company that build refrigerator boxes. They all wear blue shirts. They're all look like blue sweatshirts, and they're all in workers' combats. So they're going to Haslingden. Just be ready. You see them coming, you know they're going to Haslingden. When you pull up, indicate hello, tap your machine, Haslingden, £2 please, or card, place your card, and that's it. So listening and seeing and taking everything in does really help. So that would be my sort of top driver toolbox tip for efficiency, is just pay attention and be ready, be prepared. I think when I did my mentoring interview, I just said something I have all my tools in my bag. I have my change in my bag. I'm going back to my Cyro in a few months. I'm going to do a video actually about that. I'm going to try and fix it. One of the sliders is broken, so we're going to try and fix that. We'll do a video about it, a tear down, look at it and clean, maintenance on that. And I will go back to my Cyro. So I have my change in my bag, I have money, I have my water bottle, I have my food. Everything's prepared the night before. Put it in my bag. Minus my food. I get my food in the morning. Put it in my bag. But I'm ready. I have my ticket rolls in my bag. I have 2 ticket rolls. When I get down to 1, I pick up another ticket roll. I always have 2. It's pointless. I get drivers stopping me on routes and asking me for a ticket roll because they don't have one. They're trusting that the ticket roll's in the bus. My CPC card is in my rucksack. I never take it out of my rucksack. My rucksack is for work and work only. My notes, my spare notes are in my rucksack. My accident forms, my pens are in my rucksack. My notepad is not in my rucksack because I took it out this week, but it will be back in my rucksack because I put it in there. If I need to take a note, or there's an incident on the bus, or it's not an accident but they want some more information, I can write the note down, tear it off, give it to them. My weekly Rover cards are in my rucksack. They are in the vehicle, but I have some in the rucksack because you can get on a vehicle in the morning, they've had the window open and it's raining. So yeah, it's all about being prepared, and the easiest steps are to pay attention, see what people are wearing, know your route, and just be ready, and know your ticketer. Getting to know the names and the stops is the most important thing. Things that, to do all this, this will keep you on track for mental health because you're not panicking, you're not worrying. My mental health recently, it's probably been the best it's been for a while. I mean, Sebastian does create a distraction to that, but driving all day and being told it's your fault, it's this, it's that, it can drag you down. I mean, the other day I was sat there the other day and I was thinking, if one more customer gets on and complains, I'm just going to get off this bus. And I literally had a day of customers complaining at me because we were down to they've been waiting half an hour. Now, I make it a personal goal. If anyone's waiting and I know they're waiting, it's good morning, I'm sorry for the delay. Regardless if the delay was me. It probably seems silly and it's a bit anti or, silly to some people. But I personally believe getting in front of that problem and admitting that there is an issue and apologising for it does help the customer's perspective. However, on this day, everyone was just mad. They were just they were getting on it. And I got to the canteen and I sat there and I was like, why do I do this? Why have I not gone back into IT? Why am I not delivering parcels for DPD? Why am I a bus driver? Why am I sat here in a cab on a hot sunny day being called all the names under the sun for £15 an hour because another bus is late? And then I thought, hang on, what was it like when you were a passenger? How did you feel when, And I think, for me, LCC, Transdev, or wherever the bus company is, their apps need to be better, for a start. They need to push more information to customers, push notifications. Push notifications been around since 2006, when the iPhone first came out. Push notifications, 464 delay due to road closure, due to bus failure. Please be aware when travelling. Twitter is not the right place to communicate faults, breakages. Not everyone's on Twitter. LCC, digital displays. If there's a digital advertisement, there should be digital updates. It's dead easy. If a guy with a website can do bustimes.org, and make that show every tracking bus, why can't LCC do it? Drivers, there's no need to panic. Even when you feel like it's getting you down and making you feel terrible, the best way to go about it is just to remember it's a job at the end of the day. And it is fun to do. I do enjoy it, but I'm not going to let it kill me. And sometimes just taking a second to step back, have a brew, sit down and rant and get it off your chest, and then brush it out the door, and don't let it fill your bag up. I always talk about mental health being this invisible rucksack. It's a rucksack on your back that you're carrying. I think it was Ben Peters from Interceptors who famously talked about it, and I totally agree with him. It is a rucksack. You are carrying this burden on your back all the time. Don't let it fill your backpack up. Just keep going. Come on. Some days you can't. I've come home prior to this week and thought, that's it, I'm done as a bus driver, I really can't do it. But taking time off and taking time away from work is what helps. If you enjoy being a bus spotter, sometimes even taking time away from the industry just helps bring back your love for it. And that's what I've done this week. I've not travelled on a bus this week. I normally will go on buses every day of my life.